Hello, Tide fans. Welcome to TideTalk. I'm your host, Sean Taylor. Maurice is there on Zoom. Doesn't look like he's too enthused. Jimmy, he's here with me in the studio.
Oh,
Is it that bad, Maurice?
yes, it is.
It is bad. Maurice, it's funny. Me and Jimmy were just talking. We're not really used to this, and that's okay. We're not used to doing shows after a loss. I was trying to think back in the 5 years.
Hadn't been
many losses. So this is a tough show, especially after watching what we watched Saturday.
The disturbing factor is, Sean, is I don't think we've had a season like this since 2007, to where there's two previous games that we could have very well have lost, and now we have lost. So I think it's making us kind of think we got some issues. I mean, big issues.
Yeah, but hey, before we get into the big issues, I just want to say a shout out to my bride. I got married this past Sunday, so just a shout out to my bride, Christy. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that, gentlemen. Yeah, Maurice, there are some issues. I mean, I know we'll talk about that. I'm gonna start. I mentioned earlier to you guys on text, I didn't want to be that Alabama guy. Listen, we don't lose often, so it is tough. And everybody in the world wants us to lose. Listen, everybody was pulling for Tennessee. And I don't want to be that guy that talks about the officials, and I know there's plenty to talk about there. At the end of the day, as poorly as we played defensively, as many penalties as we had, 17, some of which we can question, we still had a chance to win the football game, multiple chances to win the football game, some of which we did not take advantage of as a team, some which I felt like were not very good calls by the officiating group. But we didn't do anything to stop Tennessee. And we can blame some calls on the officials. I think we all agree with that. We can. But we didn't do anything to stop Tennessee.
It's not. I think everybody that has Crimson has an opinion about the officiating, but to give the ball back to them and let them go 50 yards,
45 yards in 15 seconds.
That's on us. As Saban said, playing soft, which that's the second or third time he's criticized coaches. So I think some resumes may need to be updated. But that's, I don't say unforgivable, but that's just, I don't know if he was calling a prevent or whatever. Everybody was playing off. I know you don't get beat deep, but you also don't let them catch one in front of you that's puts him in field goal range, or puts him within shot.
Well, let me spin a little bit. Yes, our defense was horrendous, and I blame that mostly on the coaches and the scheme that we had. And it was exposed by Tennessee. Again, let's give them credit, and that offensive coaching staff,
Hendon Hooker,
they found something. They executed it almost to perfection. Obviously, we were chasing them most of the day. But, man, again, as bad as everything was, 3 minutes left in the game, our offense had the ball, and I knew at that point it was over. I thought we were going to go straight down the field, get in either maybe a chip shot field goal range or even score a touchdown. Well, why didn't we try to score a touchdown? But I put the blame at the end of the game, at the end of the day, I blame what we did offensively in the last 3 minutes and how we managed that, and how it almost felt like we just kind of settled for a 50-yard field goal.
There's a lot of speculation or opinions, I guess. I don't know. Speculation is maybe not the right word. There are a lot of opinions about that. I heard what Nick Saban said. I don't know if he was just trying to defend Bill O'Brien. I'm not really sure. I do understand 1st and 10 from the 32, from Tennessee's 32. They're loading the box and blitzing. I do understand, being a former offensive coordinator, that you do need to be able to hit the hot routes, the little quick things. I get it. You're supposed, statistically, and what the numbers say, you're supposed to be able to hit those passes. All right, Bryce Young, reigning Heisman Trophy winner, played a fantastic football game. With 2 timeouts, though, and Jahmyr Gibbs, I just don't know why we didn't try at least a run, a single run for that matter.
To the left
Right.
side.
To
move the ball off that
I don't
right
know
hash
why
mark.
we didn't try at least a single run. Because even if we get stopped at the line of scrimmage, or maybe even a 1 or 2 yard loss, you still have 2 timeouts, and now it's a 52 yarder if you don't move it any farther. But you know, 2nd and 10 or 12. I mean, so we run clock off. Yeah, again, Saban, maybe he was protecting Bill O'Brien. I don't know. It's easy for us to question that now, but at the end of the day, Jahmyr Gibbs been making.
No. I was questioning it then.
Jahmyr Gibbs been making plays all year. He makes that catch. We're talking about a 16-year, winning streak.
Right.
Hey, listen,
But
it was perfectly thrown. He didn't execute it. That's the bottom line. He didn't it hit him right in the hands.
yeah.
He catches that ball.
Maurice, can you tell he's a little more animated this week than he has been in the past? That joker.
He catches that ball, and there's no telling what happens because, we certainly pick up 10 yards. There's no telling how many more with Jahmyr Gibbs with the ball in his hand.
Right.
But we didn't execute.
But at the same time, we still had other drop. Now, I know crunch time, you're supposed to be making those plays and so forth. But, Brooks, Latu, he had a drop. I mean, he had some good catches. I can understand a pass being broken up, but when you just drop it,
Yeah.
I mean, one drop is not as important as the other, which led me to believe the other night our 2 best receivers, I believe, are 2 freshmen, Bond and
Prentice. Cody Prentice.
Yes. So I don't know. I've got my thoughts on this team, and it's not of what it was anything like on 2020's team. I can tell you that.
Well, let me say this to real quick. Looking back at that game, I was talking to Jimmy Cochran, a friend of ours, who's not an Alabama fan. He's a great dad. And with all the like I say, Gibbs right off his fingertips, the stinking last second block, the last second field goal, if y'all looked at that video I shot, it looked like it went off his fingertips. So, there's so many things. Yeah, what if that pass interference isn't called and we intercept the ball? What about there's all these that just goes to show you that, it was just meant to be for Tennessee to win that game. And that's what he said. And so, yeah, it is disappointing, but maybe it was just meant to be,
But look, we were talking about it. We were talking about it in the past, and even though it hadn't been many times, when we have lost, we have responded really well. Now we will see something about this team's character, because this week is not an easy game. We'll see something about this team's character and how they respond, to this loss. And I know we're going to get into more. We're going to talk about more. It's time for us to take a quick break, but it is going to be interesting to see if all the stuff we've been hearing, they're saying all the right things.
They always say that.
They're saying all the right things, but obviously actions speak louder than words. I'm ready to see if this team will respond. So hold that thought, Maurice. I know you got something to say. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break. Tide fans, we'll be right back with Tide Talk.
I know Beam. I used to watch cartoons and sports on their TV, and now I use their internet.
Take it from Javion Cohen, all SEC team offensive lineman.
Beam, it's the choice of champions.
Like Javion said, it is the internet choice of champions. Beam, bringing East Alabama more.
What is community? Is it a neighborhood? The businesses and homes inside it? Maybe community isn't just a place. Maybe it's a state of mind that when we care together, cheer together, we're closer to what really counts. At Beam, we're finding new ways to bring us all closer. And you'll find us right out there with you, because community is always on our mind. Beam, bringing East Alabama more.
All right, welcome back, Tide fans. Maurice, hold on, buddy. Have you already started there, bud?
Is it 5:30 somewhere?
I haven't
5 o'clock?
stopped since Saturday night.
Haven't stopped from Saturday. Is that drowning your sorrows or just trying to scratch your head and?
It's strictly medicinal. It's helping with some stress and quote unquote, the word for the day is anxiety.
Anxiety.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, we were talking right there before the break about this team responding. Maurice, what's your thought process? I know you have a comment, but you've got some thoughts on this team. Do you think that this team can respond?
I think they can, but this is where they would have to have had a self-evaluation, everyone on that team from Saturday night up until today's practice, about what it is that you want to do and what it is that you want to accomplish as a team. I really believe that there's some individualists on this team that really just care about being the next star. And it's somewhat showing because they're not showing up during big time moments, but then when they do make a play, they're going to make sure everybody in the world sees them. I don't believe I'm really tired of, if you're dropping passes and you finally catch one and you get in the end zone and you act like you're, the greatest thing ever, dude, go to the sideline, congratulate.
Act like you've been there before.
Yeah. And, celebrate with your teammates, but I'm just actually that I know it's probably being over analyzing, so to speak, but I think that all comes back to discipline. I think it all comes back to what's important first, me or the team. I really believe that. I think that until it changes, I'm just sorry. I got to see something different.
But do you really think? I mean, I just feel like the coaching staff on this defense side of the ball they never gave our players a chance to be successful. I mean, rushing 3 guys, dropping Will Anderson in coverage, never pressing that number 11 who had a
Off the
monster
line.
day off the line.
Ask about
I mean, there was no adjustments. I mean, I don't care how good Helms is. He's not going to ever be able to cover that guy by himself. I mean, like Sean trying to cover me. It ain't happening. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So somebody's got to make an adjustment.
I think he's been in the Kool-Aid.
And I only say that because I know he's got a bad hip. I know I could run by him now.
Ain't no doubt.
But, I mean, we still have players that can make plays. I just don't feel like they were put in position to make plays.
Yeah, I know that we've all had our concerns about both coordinators. I mean, you've had some concerns about Bill O'Brien, and Maurice for the past 2 years, 3 years probably has had some.
I don't like to brag, but yes.
About Golding.
Yes.
I don't disagree. I do. I was questioning how we didn't make any adjustment on number 11. I think it's Hyatt. I think we ought to remember his name. I don't think we made one adjustment. I don't know why we didn't knock him off his route any at the line of scrimmage. Get our hands on him just to change up the timing. And for that matter, to give Helms a chance to get over and help him out a little, help us out a little bit. We never made an adjustment. I think the one thing I'm really disappointed in was the lack of pressure on Hendon Hooker. When we did get pressure,
It was interception.
well,
The one.
when we did get pressure, he used his legs, which is what good quarterbacks are supposed to do. But we knew that coming in. We didn't have a spy. We didn't have anybody to help with that. I mean, it was, I don't want to take anything away from Tennessee. Man, Tennessee is much better than they have been, clearly. I think we saw that. I think I pointed it out prior with respect to the strength of schedule. I don't know if it was you or Maurice that sent that out of the top 10, the strength of schedule. We're at number 6. Georgia's at 87. Tennessee's at like 12 with respect to strength of schedule. And I say that simply because we knew Tennessee was going to be a good football team. It just didn't look like, to me, we were equally as good on both sides of the ball. Man, we played our tails off offensively after the first half. We played our tails off. Bryce Young, to me, is still one of the best players in college football.
Agreed.
Clearly showed that Saturday night. I just thought, I kept saying, Tennessee hadn't played a defense like ours. Tennessee hadn't played a defense like ours. And man,
I've never seen a defense like ours Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just not good. And is that solely the coaching?
98% of it, in my opinion.
Maybe.
I mean, no blitzes. I mean, we never tried to put pressure on him. We had one sack by interior
DJ
lineman that got through
the
a block. I mean, we brought no pressure. It was almost like we were scared to death to try to pressure him, because that one time in the first quarter that we got him out of the pocket, he ran for 20 yards. Well, okay, I'd rather him do that than freaking every time he throws the ball down the field. Yeah. I mean, bring some packages, do something different, and we did nothing different.
Sean, I'm getting worried because I think Jimmy is actually listening and learning something from me, because what he is saying, third time this season that he's spot on. Golden, in my opinion, was calling a game not to lose.
Not to lose. I agree with that statement.
He was scared of Hooker getting out or making a play, but I mean, sending 3 wasn't even scratching.
Yeah.
And I mean, there should have been 4 or 5. Didn't see that many stunts or twists. I think it could have been. It changes, and you played quarterback. It changes a quarterback's vision.
Sure.
Whenever you see that coming
Sure.
at you. I thought Golden called extremely conservative, boring, and just not to lose.
And I'll say this, early in the game, the first half, when we were struggling, I almost get it to try to play a little more conservatively. They were already up 21-0. So I kind of get it. But man, in the second half, when we tied the ball game, man, we should have tried to pour it on a little bit. I thought we should have tried to bring something different. And listen, if Hooker was to continue to run, then we should have made him pay for it when he did run.
Right.
And I'm like you, Jimmy. Man, I'd rather him run 10 or 12 yards and us maybe knock his head off a couple times than to throw the ball down the field and it be a touchdown.
I mean, there was 3 plays in the game that I remember where there was a little bit of pressure on him. One was the first interception he threw. He wasn't able to follow through with his pass. Ball sailed. We intercepted it. The second one, almost identical. He sailed a pass and the ball skipped and hit somebody in the ankle. I'm like, did he not see the ball coming at him? Because I felt like he could have maybe intercepted the ball. I don't know if it was Battle or Branch or whoever.
I think it was Battle.
And then the last one, where we got him out of the pocket on that 4th down,
4th and 6,
where we intercepted the ball in the end zone. He just kind of threw that ball up there. So that was 3 different plays where we actually got pressure on him, where he didn't look like an All-American. So
where was that the whole time?
Why didn't we do that more during the game?
Yeah, well, again, that's what I said. I mean, once, when we were down and they were scoring on us pretty much at will and we had terrible field position, I think, I kind of get the playing a little bit conservatively. We were trying to figure that out and trying to figure out what was going on. And they were, of course, quick tempo. But once we tied the game, once the second half started and we were having some production offensively, we were moving the football, scoring, I think we should have changed it up. And yes, the times where we did get pressure, he did run a couple of times and hurt us with his legs. But the other 3 times that you're mentioning, we had opportunities. And so, again, just like they say the right things. A lot of lessons to be learned from the game Saturday night, individually, players individually, and of course as a team on both sides of the ball. But we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll talk about Mississippi State this weekend. That's going to be a tough game. Listen, we got to strap up and get ready. No mistakes for the rest of the year. There's no room for error, as has been said. But everything is still out in front of us. So, Maurice, hold that thought. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with Tide Talk.
Beam is delivering gig speed internet to 100% of our network. But should you get a gig? Well, if you want to download an album in a blink, video conference in 4K, make virtual reality more real, power all of your home smart devices at the same time, and still have bandwidth to stream everything without buffering, then yeah, you gotta get a gig. So call, click, or visit and get it. Because when you gotta get a gig, you gotta go with Beam. Bringing East Alabama more.
I know Beam. I used to watch cartoons and sports on their TV, and now I use their internet.
Take it from Javion Cohen, all SEC team offensive lineman.
Beam. It's the choice of champions.
Like Javion said, it is the internet choice of champions. Beam, bringing East Alabama more.
All right, welcome back, Tide fans. Third segment, last segment of Tide Talk from the Tennessee game, getting ready for Mississippi State. Maurice, we said right there before the break that, everything's out in front of us. Now, yes, this team's got to show up. Mississippi State's not going to be a joke. Man, Leach is an offensive mastermind. They're going to throw it all over the field. They're going to challenge us in the secondary, which I would too if I was an offensive coordinator. But everything is out in front of us. Everything is right in front of us for what we want to do. We went out. We go to the SEC championship game. Of course, we get a chance to play for that. And then, of course, that would put us in the playoffs. So,
And we're in the same spot we were last year. Everybody was ready to jump off the cliff when we played as bad as we did against A&M. And then we ended
and
up.
still had a chance to win that one.
Yeah. And then we rolled through the schedule, rolled through Georgia and SEC championship game. We're about, 5 minutes away from winning another national championship. So all is not lost, but we definitely got to.
This team's got to show us.
Something's got.
Don't you agree, Maurice? This team's got to show us they'll respond.
We can call out the stats like we've won more national championships with one loss than we have going undefeated, granted. But this team, y'all have got to respond. You've got to understand what's in front of you. There are no more mulligans. And Mississippi State, they have scared me for the past few weeks because that kid, Will Rogers, I think he's fifth in the country in passing.
Yeah.
And Mike Leach is going to be hitting the middle and going to be picking on our safeties.
They're going to sling it around. That's for sure. I can appreciate the things that you hear Nick Saban saying. I can appreciate that. That is the right thing to say. I've heard a couple of things from some players. I actually love what Bryce Young posted Saturday night, as a matter of fact.
What did he post?
He made a post just about, if you think that we're going to cry and you think we're going to just, give up or whatever, that's not us. And he actually quoted some scripture of Romans 8, I believe, just about challenges that you have. And it's a test of character and character's perseverance. And so, I love what he had to say. Now I want to start, not that I think that Bryce Young could have done any more than what he did. I think the guys around him, man, I'm ready to see, Kyle, where's Harold? What's the deal with this?
I guess he's not going to play.
Speedster from Louisville. I'm ready to see a receiver say, I want the football, throw it to me, and I'm going to get open. I don't know if y'all noticed the 3rd and 10 right there at the end, 30-something seconds, the 3rd and 10, that throw was to Jermaine Burton. I don't know if you saw Bryce Young after he made the throw. He's basically telling him, you ran the wrong route.
Right.
He in essence was telling him, you should have sat down in the middle of the field. I think he was running like a post, running like a corner route, and he should have sat down in the middle of the field. We didn't need 30 yards. We needed 10 yards.
And we go back to that communication that we talked about between receiver and quarterback, and it's not there.
Yeah, I'm ready to see a receiver step up and say, man, I want the football, and I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to get open. man, I loved watching Latu. Latu had some great catches. I'm talking about some strong hand, only chance
He
he's
did.
got to catch with his hands. And then as soon as I say that, the Joker misses that pass in the end zone. Now, we ended up scoring, okay, and going right back to him, but that was just because of great play by Bryce Young. But
Agreed.
I'm ready for some wide receivers to
I'm ready for some people to grab the bench and have somebody else. And Saban alluded to that today in his press conference, that nobody is guaranteed a starting spot, especially right now. So it's time to do some reevaluation. I agree. If you're not stepping up, then you don't play. There's too much passiveness from coaches and from players. Bryce Young is a Heisman Trophy winner, won a national championship. I know he's a good kid, but it wouldn't bother me one iota if he grabbed one of the receivers by the face mask and told him,
yeah,
get it right.
yeah, I agree. I agree. It's time for that from both the offensive and the defensive side. I'm ready for Will Anderson to grab, a safety by the face mask and say, "Hey man, we're busting our tails up here. Do your job back there." Or
Go back
Henry
to
To'o-
Rolando McClain when he used to do that.
Yeah.
He knew every coverage and he would get on a DB's butt about, that was your man. You messed it up. Get it right. And because if like Toa does, the entire defense and every coverage and every rush, then that should be communicated to the players whenever they mess up.
Yeah.
And that's my 2 cents.
Well, I'm
Get off my
I'm looking
soapbox.
forward to seeing how this team responds. I do believe in the past we've responded really well to a loss. We've shown that. Of course, this is a new year. This is a new team. They've got to show us that they're ready to do that. I think they're very capable. I think we all know they're very capable. It's time to see it. Let's talk real quick about our kicker. I still believe the Joker's really, really good, obviously. You don't go all year with making every PAT and field goal. What do you think's happening now? Is it maybe just confidence?
Well, we talked about it yesterday. Every single kick he's missed has been on the right hash. The first one he missed, he kind of overhooked it, I guess, if you will, or drew it, missed that left upright. Ever since then, everything he's missing is to the right. So obviously that's mental. So he's missed that first kick, and now he's starting. So he's either over. I don't know.
He's overcompensated.
So, but he's in his own head, I think. I mean, it's not like the knuckleball the Tennessee guy kid. I mean, he's flushing the ball. It's just he don't have that draw working for him.
Yeah, the kick from 50 that he missed was good from 57.
Or
I mean,
60.
he had plenty of distance. I mean, if you saw, it hits the net 3/4 of the way up the net behind the goalpost.
And where it started, it looked like he was trying to maybe draw it in. It just kind of stayed straight, if that's what they do. I know. I mean, I don't know. 'Cause I can't kick one, but
Yeah,
anyway.
I'd like to see him get himself back together. The guy's clearly really, really good. But yes, I think now he's struggling with the confidence in himself. Maurice, you're shaking your head. Do you disagree with that, or?
No, I agree with the whole daggum team is like that. And I grew up with a coach in my ear hole from Pop Warner to high school. And if you were messing up, he'd tell you you're spitting your guts up, and he'd do it again. You're going to be standing on the sideline beside me. And, that's the thing. You need to have more fear to be standing on the sideline next
That's
to the
right.
coach than you do about anybody on the field.
And that should be the case at Alabama.
Yeah.
There's so
Right.
much talent there. It should be the case.
I think there's too much hugging and too much afraid this kid's going to transfer and all this crap. Somebody, there's nothing wrong with a little, chewing every now and then.
I don't disagree. All right, it's time for predictions. Mississippi State this weekend. We're coming off a loss. They're coming off a loss. They lost to Kentucky. So, Maurice, you got a prediction for this Saturday night against Mississippi State?
What's the line, Jimmy?
21.
21.
21.
No, I'm thinking they're gonna toast us on a few. So I'm gonna say 35-24 Bama.
Well, nothing they've done this year makes me worry about the outcome of this game. They kind of laid an egg versus Kentucky at Kentucky. I mean, if they show up and put 40 or 35 on our defense, then yeah, we might as well just cash it in if they do that. I don't think they
Very well
will.
happen.
I think I don't know if we'll cover 21 points, but I think we'll be close. I think it'll be like a 40-20 kind of game.
Are we at home or is it
Is at home.
45-21 Alabama? I do think they'll score. I don't think their defense is very good at all. I believe that Bryce Young is all that in a bag of chips. I believe Jahmyr Gibbs is all that in a bag of chips. And I believe you'll see an offense that wants to continue doing what they were doing in the second half Saturday night. So 45-21 Alabama at home against Mississippi State, and we will cover.
I hope you're right.
That's my prediction. I hope that they respond that way. I believe they will. We'll see. If not, we'll be back here. And I think we're going to win. We may not cover, but I think we're going to win regardless. But I want to see us respond to the loss and it be a no doubter.
Mhm.
That's what I'm looking forward to seeing. So, guys, thanks again. We will. Yeah, we're closing up. Yep. we're wrapping.
Happy hour is about to start.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, Tide fans, next week right here on Channel 207, and we'll see you next week after a big win against Mississippi State. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.